Hampton National Historic Site is a National Park Service property in Towson, Maryland. Hampton was a plantation, a site of forced labor for hundreds of enslaved persons and indentured servants from 1750 through 1864. Iron workers, gardeners, skilled artisans, agricultural and domestic workers, grooms and jockeys were all forced to labor here for the benefit of generations of the Ridgely family, a family of businessmen, musicians, a Maryland governor, travelers, hostesses, and writers. Hampton Mansion today contains original artifacts from 3 centuries, and its slave quarters begin a story that recent ethnographic work builds on, tracing the lives of the people who built and sustained the Ridgely wealth. This virtual tour will go behind the scenes in the stables and provide a close-up look at the Post Boy Cup, a horse racing trophy displayed in the dining room. Tracing stories of enslaved persons forced to serve as coachmen and jockeys here at Hampton, we see what opportunities these children and men built for themselves from this work with horses.
We are currently standing beside one of the main horse stables in the vast Hampton estate, where free and enslaved men and children worked to train horses for transportation and races.
We are currently in the stables built in 1805 that was used to house the horses that would have competed in the races and driven the carriages that you see here.
Nathan Harris was an enslaved coachman who may have driven some of these carriages. A descendant of Nathan Harris, Mr. John Gross, visited Hampton recently during an ethnographic study to learn more about the people who lived and worked here.
The sport and prizes that are won today are some of the most prestigious displays of wealth and tradition in the country. And it all started at a place like this, with a stable hand and a horse, and the enslaved man or child who would bring home the trophy. Let's take a walk. The Ridgely family were known to have horses ready at all times for racing. Most riders here and all over the country were young enslaved men and children who had no voice in the matter, yet rode faster than anyone else. And here within our collection, we have the trophies to prove it.
Enslaved riders were sometimes given money or goods in return for their successes, and developed reputations regionally and sometimes nationally. We know of some Southern jockeys who rode their way to freedom and continued to have careers on their own terms in the North. For riders, stable hands, grooms, and jockeys, skills gained during enslavement could be put to use when freedom was granted or taken. Here you can imagine the carriage we just saw, riding along the heart-shaped drive from the stables, Nathan Harris at the reins, pulling up to the main door. Newspaper records tell us that Nathan Harris went on to own his own stable on Woodburn Avenue near York Road in Baltimore City after slavery was declared illegal in Maryland. The dining room is a place of stunning opulence, a site of work for enslaved persons, and a place of celebration for the Ridgleys.
So we are now in the dining room, and I'm about to give you a close-up look at the Post Boy Cup. And Post Boy is actually a horse, a champion racehorse who only lost 2 races in his whole racing career.
This cup is from 1805, the same year the stables were finished. An enslaved person was responsible for winning the trophy, but congratulatory toasts were drunk to the Ridgleys and their guests. This practice of toasting with the cup continued for over 100 years. We know about this, and we know about the horse, but no documentation has yet been discovered to tell us the name of the jockey who led the Ridgleys to victory.